Hello user, welcome to my channel Learning with Khatang. Now as we have a basic understanding of exception handling in C++, let us take some example to understand the topic better. As in the last two videos, in the two lectures, we have shown a basic understanding of the try-catch block to handle the exceptions. In the second last lecture, we have developed a program to handle the exceptions generated by division by 0. So here now in this case, here in this the third part, we want to show that we can throw exception using throw keyword even also. So for this purpose, exception handling using functions. Now this time I'm going to use a function. How to deal with it. So if you look at the main functions, I have a main functions. There are two numbers, number 1, number 2, and then from the user I just simply enter the numbers from the users. Two numbers are entered from the user and then the answer. So using a try-catch block, because in divisions the denominator can be 0, so we must handle the 0 division inside try block. So what does it mean? In case if divisor is 0, the compiler cannot handle such type of situations and cause abnormality in the program. So to remove in order to avoid such type of abnormalities in the program execution, we must use try-catch blocker. So if you look at this, okay, yes, okay. Now if you look at this, this is the try block. In the try block, answer division num1 and num2. I have a function name division. In division, two numbers are passed as argument, number 1, number 2, and then after the results, the result will store inside the answer. So if you look at the division functions, how the division function is called here. So this is the division functions: int division, int a1, int b, because we are going to pass two arguments. So checking if the denominator is 0 or not. So we want to check here that if b is equal to 0, if b is equal to 0, it means then if the denominator is 0, there must throw an exceptions, throw division by a 0. So from here we throw an exception. Now how this exception will be handled? This exception will be handled inside the catch block. So if we look at the catch block, catch const character and then a character pointer variable. If I remove this const, there is no problem, error message. So now why I used character pointer variable? If you look at the throw message, so here I am going to throw this time a complete error message. So this is basically a string. So here in catch block, I used a character pointer variable that whatever we want to throw the error. So this error will be stored inside here error message and then simply will be displayed. So if I run this program, look at the output. So enter the value of number 1, 4 and 2, because this time 2 means denominator is not equal to 0, so the output is equal to 2. So but if I enter the denominator equal to 0, what will happen? 4 and then 0, so division by 0. So this time what type of error thrown by the try block? Division by 0, which is displayed here. But if we look at the previous part 1 and part 2 program, yes, look at this, throw variable 2. So just I throw a integer value. For integer value, there must be an integer variable inside the catch block. Similarly, in the last one, if I remember, yes, throw test number. I throw a test number as an exception, and then in catch block I handle this test number by declaring an integer variable. So similarly here in this case, if I look at this time I throw a complete error message, division by 0 means a string. So to capture such type of to handle such type of exceptions in catch handler, we must use a character pointer variable, a character pointer to hold the error message and then simply displayed it. So this is the simple explanation. By this time, using a functions, from functions we throw in exceptions, while this exception is handled inside the catch block, which is declared inside the main functions. So in the next lectures, we will develop somehow practical applications to use the try-catch block by handling an exception related to a real life. So thank you very much for being with us.